Xylitol. Xylitol? Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. It tends to be a sneaky sort of ingredient that finds its way into a lot of products that might actually surprise you. Xylitol can be absorbed quickly, and its ingestion by your dog is truly an emergency because it can be deadly. So today, we're going to talk about what it is, why it's dangerous for your pet, and how to treat and prevent this toxin. We're making one of my favorite desserts today, the macaron. It's a delicate French cookie, and the recipe can be a little bit finicky, but once you get it right, it's so rewarding. Today we're gonna learn how to make my recipe for Earl Grey macarons. As a bonus to your pet, this recipe is xylitol free. For the record, I do not recommend feeding macarons to your pet. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 6 of Dig In with Dr. Steph. I'm Dr. Steph, a veterinarian who loves to bake. In my videos, we'll talk about a pet care topic while we bake a fun recipe. If you want to get straight to the recipe for these macarons, skip to the time listed above. I also post all of my recipes and more fun information on my website at drsteph.com. Okay, what the heck is xylitol anyway? Xylitol is primarily an artificial sweetener. It's used in a lot of food products to have the benefit of that sweet taste without the downside of loads of added sugar. So you can find it in products like sugar-free chewing gum, drinks and dessert mixes, syrups and sauces, peanut butters, and it's also used to flavor some medications. What's always surprising to me is that you can actually find xylitol in a lot of personal care products as well, including baby wipes, sunscreen, lip balms, and of course toothpastes. Xylitol is fine for us because our bodies don't process it the same way we process regular sugar. Our dogs are not so lucky though. Sugar is normally processed by the pancreas, which sees that sugar and responds by releasing insulin. Insulin is sugar's ticket from the bloodstream to the rest of the body, and it supplies the rest of our organs with the energy that it needs to function. The dog's pancreas is a little confused. When it sees xylitol, it responds as if the body just received a massive amount of sugar, and so the pancreas releases a huge amount of insulin. This depletes your dog's bloodstream of the normal amount of sugar it needs. Importantly, the amount of sugar it requires to supply the brain, and it can do that pretty quickly. Signs can appear as soon as 30 minutes or even up to 12 hours after ingestion. Low blood sugar, also called hypoglycemia, can cause some dangerous signs: vomiting, disorientation, tremors, seizures, even death. Xylitol can also do this weird thing in dogs where it destroys the liver tissue, which may not appear until later in the course of toxicity, but looks like yellowing of the skin, eyes, and gums, and inability to clot the blood, resulting in massive hemorrhage. If you've noticed that I've been sifting for a while, it's because this recipe requires a lot of sifting. Like I said, it's really finicky, but it's worth it. So how much xylitol is really toxic? It would be great if we had consistent amounts of xylitol in everything, but of course that's not the case. Even different flavors of gum can have different amounts of xylitol in them. But generally, even one small piece of gum can be enough to poison a small dog. If your pet does get into something and you have the wrapper, make sure to bring it with you to the vet so that we can estimate the amount ingested. Your vet may try to induce vomiting if it's safe to do so. If you haven't watched my video on chocolate toxicity, I go into detail about why it's important to have your vet induce vomiting instead of doing so at home, so be sure to check that one out. The biggest danger now to your dog's health is the hypoglycemia, or low blood sugar. So we'll need to keep your dog in the hospital on IV fluids supplemented with sugar while monitoring their levels around the clock. That means a stay in the hospital will likely be recommended. So what about cats? We're not entirely sure about the toxic effects of xylitol in cats. Poison Control Center databases just don't have information on these or reports of xylitol poisoning in cats, and a 2018 study on the toxicity of oral xylitol in cats using a small sample size did not report the same effects as there are in dogs. Perhaps cat pancreas are less confused than dogs when it comes to this process. So let's wrap it up with 3 big tips. Tip number 1, check ingredients. Definitely check labels on food products that you might give to your dog, like peanut butter. And never brush your dog's teeth with human labeled toothpaste. Number 2, avoid exposure. If you're taking a medication, take it in a room with a closed door so that in case you drop a pill, your dog can't grab it up. Keep your bag that has chewing gum, baby wipes, and sunscreen out of reach of your pet. Number 3, just like I always say, act quickly. If your dog does get into something, your car keys are your best friend to get you straight to the vet as soon as possible. And if you can, bring that wrapper so that we can use it for dosing estimates. Remember to save these numbers: the ASPCA Poison Control Center and Pet Poison Helpline, which you may be recommended to use if the treatment protocols are requested or if the dosing amount is unclear. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a couple things about this sneaky toxin in our pets. Keep watching for the recipe at the end of this video, and make sure to subscribe if you like my videos and want to see more pet care topics. If you're a new subscriber, leave me a comment so that I can welcome you to my website. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.